All right, everybody, welcome back for another edition of Snack-ime, where we talk anime and eat snacks. As always, I'm with my co-host, Jenae, who is awesome. And Jenae, what did you discover when we logged on this afternoon?
What did I discover?
As far as our color coordination?
Oh, we're very Christmassy, just in time for our next episode to drop.
Yes. So
on purpose. It was a pure accident.
Happy accident. I love it. So this from our banner, obviously you can tell that what we're going to be talking about today is the Legend of Vox Machina, as we are eating our mochi. So before we dive into this episode, Jenae, what kind of mochi are you going to be munching on today?
I have matcha mochi.
Ooh.
I've never had the matcha. I've only had the chocolate, vanilla, or the strawberries. So
nice.
I'm excited.
And I found this delightful little shop in a mall up in Fresno the other day called Miniso, and I was able to find a bunch of stuff that I've never seen before, like these delightful little Hello Panda chocolate-filled pretzels, which I love these when I lived in Japan. So that was something I've never seen before. And they also had yan, which I haven't had in quite a long time. But I too was able to find mochi. Of course, mine are more on the Hello Kitty side. Very adorable, very demure.
Let's see, you have some matcha too.
I do. I have matcha, and I got azuki, which is the red bean paste, and that's actually what I'm going to be munching on today because I like the red bean paste. And I figured it works because you're wearing green and you're eating matcha. I'm wearing red and I'm eating red bean paste. So
there you go.
Happy accident number 2. So yeah, we're talking about the Legend of Vox Machina season 1 on this particular episode. Now, Jenae, have you ever, prior to this episode and planning it out, have you ever heard of the Legend of Vox Machina before?
I hadn't, so it was all a surprise to me when I watched it, but I was pleasantly surprised. I did look it up. It is technically not an anime. It is just considered an adult animation, but that's still okay.
It's anime adjacent.
Yeah. But it's more Americanized that I'm okay with. Like, I don't know if it's just the way my brain is wired, but like certain types of cartoons, if they're trying to look anime-like, I don't like it. It just like this just seems like they over-exaggerate too much, kind of a thing. And so they're like trying to make it like funny and laugh and all that, and it's a miss for me. But I was pleasantly surprised with this. Like the animation style reminded me more of Dante's Inferno. There's a certain animation style in Dante's Inferno because they do mixed, and Castlevania that's similar to that, I think, and then also the Masters of the Universe one.
Okay, yeah, the new Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe. Yeah, I was a little bit like, because I'm not much of an anime person, like anything that looks remotely anime-ish, I mean, I'll kind of jump onto it because I think it looks cool. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Like I had seen, advertisements for it and little teaser trailers and stuff like that a couple of years ago, and then I was listening to an episode of The Critical Drinker on YouTube, and he reviewed it, and he was like, "This is really amazing. People should watch it. Check it out. It's good storytelling." And so I finally buckled, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to check it out." And so I did, and I, like you, was very pleasantly surprised. I love the humor. I love the storytelling behind it. I back in high school I tried my hand at D&D and failed miserably, but I still very much enjoy this because I write fantasy, I like fantasy, and so this was in my wheelhouse. It was something I could understand, and I got into it. So we'll show the trailer. Hopefully we don't get dinged for this, because like last month's episode we got dinged on the Ranma 1/2 trailer by Netflix, but thankfully they released that because we were doing it under Creator Commons and stuff like that, and fair use. So hopefully we won't get dinged this time.
How long is the trailer?
The trailer is a little over a minute and a half.
We could put it into sections, so that would also help it to not be dinged too. We watch.
You know what?
See,
I'm so glad that you're my co-host, because you just gave us a great idea. So what we'll do is we'll react to parts of the trailer as we're watching it.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, let me get that screen there. Present. Hold on. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Window. We're going to have a moment for Chrome tab. There we go. Boom. Ha. Okay, so here we go. This is the official trailer.
Evil rises. Our only hope lies in these brave warriors. Right. Who else have we got?
Okay, so first and foremost, I love this callback to the original Dungeons and Dragons cartoon from the 80s. Like all those characters in that questing party, we're all dressed like those characters, and we actually
that's awesome.
and we actually see those same characters or a version of them featured in Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves in the games.
Oh, cool.
Towards the end of the movie. So I'm like, I never noticed this in the trailer before, so this is a really fun nod.
Well, I was rewatching some of it again last night, and then just the narration, it always takes me by surprise when they go, one person just gets killed right away. It's like, oh, oh yeah, that just happened. And it's like, I just watched it last night too, and I was always surprised.
Yeah, some of it's very abrupt, so you can tell there's a lot of humor and comedic timing thrown into play. And I like how our first this scene that's right here on the video is our first interaction or our first introduction to Vox Machina, and we have Percy, kind of just looking brooding over there in the back corner. And then drinking in front of us, we have Vexalia, her twin brother, Vaxeldan, so Vex and Vax, and then Pike, their cleric. Yeah. And these are all fun characters. So just as far as the introduction of the characters, what was something that you enjoyed?
I'm kind of just, she'll be probably popping up in a little bit, like Keyleth. I thought she was hilarious because she's like, let's keep drinking. And and she's like, didn't you just have one ale?
She's such a lightweight.
And I technically am too. Sometimes sometimes depending on the drink, I'm it just goes right to my head. So it's like, oh, she's totally me.
Oh my gosh! So I guess it's going to be a lot of fun on talking with them.
So, well, not that, but adult beverages sometimes, depending on they'll go just right to my head. I'm like, wee. But I don't do what she does, though. Thank goodness. I don't lose my drink.
Yeah, I don't have that issue. I just get really sleepy.
I have that problem too.
I don't like the after effects, so I don't drink all that often or that heavily.
Mm-hmm.
These guys would drink me under the table, and they're cartoons. All right, let's keep watching.
All right.
I'm sorry, who the hell are you?
We're Vox Machina. We shit up.
Let's go! Come on, work!
You can't be seriously.
Man. Okay. So this is our whole group from left to right. We've got Percy. We've got Pike, who looks like she's completely wasted. We have Grog, who's their half giant. Scanlan, their bard, who is a total womanizer. Keyleth, who looks like she's about ready to lose her drink. And then Vax and Vex. They all look beat to hell. So
I did get an interesting fact that the group name Vox Machina is a reference to the fact that the players are all voice actors. So in Italy, it means voice machine. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That. And then the main guy, Matthew Mercer, is the DM, but he plays other characters and voices a ton of them, like from villagers to guards. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So like the whole premise of this is based off of Critical Role. And if you haven't watched any of Critical Role stuff, it's really, really cool, really fun. They're all a group of friends and voice actors who've worked together on other projects. For example, Pike, her voice actress is Ashley Johnson, who had the voice of Ellie from The Last of Us video games. And she's also been in a bunch of other stuff. She played the youngest daughter of the Seavers on Growing Pains. And she has a blink and you'll miss it cameo in the first Avengers film in 2012. She's the waitress that Captain America saves from a bunch of aliens. And then the rest of them are all fairly competent voice actors from animation, video games, stuff like that. And what's cool is my first interaction with Marisha Ray, who plays Keyleth and is also married to Matthew Mercer. The first thing I ever saw her in was on Bat in the Sun for the Superpowered Beatdowns. Like she used to be one of the co-hosts on that.
I love those.
Oh, I do too. Bat in the Sun is so much. It's a really cool web series, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of the episodes. I know that they've got Legend of the White Dragon coming out with the late great Jason David Frank, who was the original Green Ranger, Tommy. But yeah, so let's get back into the video here.
Considering them for such a task.
Our reputation is less than stellar.
If killing for gold isn't getting us anywhere, maybe we try doing some good this time?
Boring.
Kill Vox
If this evil persists, the kingdom will starve to death.
I suggest.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite scenes when she says "light up."
Oh yeah,
arrow. I think that's really cool.
So one of the things I really, really enjoyed the most about this this show is how irreverent it is. Like that scene where they're sitting across the table, just giving each other the finger left and right. Like, I love it because it was like it shows just how much of a sense of humor the writers have with this, and you get to see the characters in their or the actors, interacting with each other in a fun way that shows camaraderie and friendship and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I love irreverent humor because just when you think you've got it figured out, it kind of turns everything on its head. And I think that's hilarious.
Well, you can tell that their group and stuff like has grown close. Because like if you're not really close people, if you just met or something, you're not just going to randomly flip somebody off, kind of a thing.
Right. And so they play on that for sure. And just man, the action is so well choreographed in the animation. Like you don't lose track of the landscape. You don't lose track of the of anything else. You know what's going on, when it's happening, where, and who's involved. And I think that's really good, because a lot of times, action oriented shows you get so much action that you lose track of what's happening.
Yeah. And for Scaleth said that they just F shit up, but they work flawlessly. You'd think that they would be discombobulated, but one person will be attacking, but then someone else will help them if they're about to fall. And I just think it's really cool that they're such mismatched, but they have each other's backs basically. That's
yeah.
really-
Well, and I like, one of the things I really appreciate about this is just what you were saying, when one falls, another picks them up. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And throughout the series, and we'll talk more about this when we do our episode on season 2 and season 3. But one of the things I really think is cool is that you see them grow as characters. They don't remain stagnant. And there is some really good development, not just within the individual characters, but in their relationships with one another. And you see that kind of growth. I think Grog especially has one of the funniest transitions. Because have you gotten into season 2 yet?
I watched episode 1 of season 2, but I just love Grog and Pike's relationship, because you wouldn't think that they would mesh so well.
Yeah.
But they're just best buds. It's so cute.
And they've got kind of a big brother, little sister vibe. Because Pike is a gnome and he's a half giant, but there are times where she pulls the big sister card on him, and he's the idiot little brother, and I think it's great. But what I really think is cool is each character brings something to the table. Obviously Scanlan is he's kind of their wild card, because he's very self-involved when you first meet him, but at the same time he's the one that helps get them into and out of situations very easily.
He just doesn't want to go, because he's oh crud, then we're gonna have to do stuff, and then he's afraid to work out the situation. He doesn't want in conflict. He just wants the reward sometimes. Right,
and he wants the easy way out, and but then usually the part of the task that he's required to do is usually the one that has the most challenge to it. And what I really like is for example, Keyleth and Vex are both the way they're designed, they're very much based off of the actresses who voice them, as far as appearance and stuff like that. And they're both super attractive, but neither one of them is fully confident in themselves. Each of them have, and you see this with the male characters, like Percy, for example, and even Scanlan, to a point where they have their issues with self-confidence. They have their own insecurities. And I think that's really kind of cool to see, because you've got characters who are aesthetically very pleasing to the eye, which is typical with animation, and especially Dungeons and Dragons type stuff and fantasy. But at the same time, as physically beautiful as they are, they have their hangups. Although that's not to say that I don't have a crush on Vex. She's so let's finish the trailer here.
We run right now. That we fight.
Grog, you're hurt.
No big question. This is normal. Oh no.
Is this normal? Oh my gosh. So Oh my god! So I think hands down, probably one of my favorite characters is Grog, just because he's like he is so nonchalant about everything. He like nothing registers for him, and like I can't remember if it's in I can't remember if it's episode 1 or episode 2, but he gets a beard in
really?
season 2, and like his whole response is super excited because he's been trying to grow a beard forever and he finally gets it. And they're like, well, why don't you just take off? Because it comes from like putting on a magic belt. And he's like, I'm not taking off the belt. Like he refuses to take off the belt because it gives him the beard.
Weird.
So yeah.
It's funny because like Grog's character design wise with the tattoos and everything reminds me of Kratos from God of War.
Yeah. And,
but he's not, but it just makes me laugh.
He's nothing like Kratos. Like Kratos is like he's stern, he's really angry all the time, like he's completely verbally abusive to his son. And then you get Grog who looks
just
like
a sandwich.
him, and he's literally the gentle giant until you piss him off. So aside from Keyleth, obviously, who's an inspirational character for you and a standout character for you, who are some other characters that you enjoyed in season 1? Whether it's part of the main cast or side cast.
I really liked Percy and what like he had to go through and stuff, and seeing his backstory. Like he was just so aloof, and he's just like, it's like, why are you in this group to begin with, almost? Because it's like he's always just so annoyed with them all. Like they all get annoyed with each other, but they're still like want to be around each other and acknowledge, hey, I know this guy, he's part of my group. And Percy's just like kind of like, yeah, I'm with them.
Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of funny. Like Percy always just he's that character that doesn't necessarily feel like he fits, but he fits.
Yeah.
Because he brings something else to the table. Because like he's not a fighter, he's not a warrior, he's not an assassin, he's not a thief. He's an engineer. He's a mechanist.
Yeah.
And and he's a tactician. I think that's one of the cool things that he brings to the table. Although for the longest time, like the first half of the season, I was thinking that the voice actor for Vex, or not for Vex, but for Vax, and for Percy were the same guy because they sound so identical.
Yeah, I would have thought that too, but then when I looked, I was like, oh, they're not.
Yeah, they're completely different. And so I was like, wow.
Really close.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as like standout, besides the main cast, I think one of the characters that I really enjoyed was I'm pulling up the cast here. The Briarwoods are obviously fantastic villains. I really like them, but where is it? There we go.
I liked the shop owner. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Sean. Trying to think. Yeah, I know who. Yeah, Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked him too. I think he was his voice actor is Sunil Malhotra. He's hilarious. I like the fact that he's constantly like trying to win the affections of Vax'ildan, and like Vax is just like, yeah, okay, about that. Moving on.
Like he plays it, but then he's also like, not really.
Yeah, but no, Professor Anders, who was voiced by Stephen Root in season 1. Like Stephen Root comes from a comedic background. Like he's the stapler guy from Office Space, and he was the dweeble guy in Dodgeball. Like he plays these legitimately dorky characters and sometimes he's, sometimes he can play more authoritarian characters, even if he doesn't have all his stuff together. Like he plays the principal in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie with Christy Swanson.
Mm-hmm.
But like his ability to play such an awful, abusive villain like Professor Anders is incredibly powerful. Like the first time I ever saw him do anything serious was the small part he had in the movie Get Out from 2017, and so in that he plays kind of an antagonistic character, and then here we have him playing one of the central, not the central villain, but a central villain.
Yeah,
and he is just creepy as hell. Like that, the whole
that
overtone thing was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of that was creepy. What about you? What are some of the villain characters that stuck out to you?
Well, I liked what's her name? The lady that brought back her husband or whatever.
Oh, Lady Briarwood.
Yeah, Lady Briarwood. I thought that was interesting that she just went through, like, she knew it was wrong, but she just wasn't ready to let him leave, and so she delved into some magic and stuff. But it almost felt like, and so I don't know, like, their complete backstory. It just showed like when he was sick and stuff. But like, to me, it almost seemed like he had a complete personality change, but she was okay with that because he was still alive after she saved him, kind of a thing.
Right.
So it's like, what is this really him, or is this something else? And you're just okay with him being physically here now because you saved him, and you don't care if he's bad anymore. It's like,
and he's a very the whole dynamic between the Briarwoods is really cool because, like, I mean, you can see that they love each other. Like, they are completely devoted to each other, but they are monsters. Like, she's a necromancer essentially, and he's a vampire.
Yeah.
And they just awful characters, but well performed and well written, I think.
Yeah, like when she blocked Scaleth from singing and stuff, I thought that was pretty cool. That it's like, so you're able to fight Pike while you're doing this. It's like, that takes a lot of power to do, and also try to summon some demon thingy. It's like, that's a lot of power.
Yeah, it is, and it like she's doing a lot of stuff there, and I'm like, that is insane. I think one of the characters that I was really impressed by was where is it? I'm looking at the entire cast list. It's where is he? David Tennant performing as the dragon at the very beginning of the season.
Oh,
like, how much of a twist was that for you?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, I kind of know that voice. It's like, huh.
Right. And I got, like, I mean, I'm always eager to see what David Tennant does, because he's a phenomenal actor, and the fact that they were, like, just looking at the cast list of who they've got is like, they've got a who's who of really, really good actors. I mean, they've, aside from the main cast, you've got Kelly Hu playing Anna Ripley, who's one of the antagonists in the series. You have Cree Summer, who is like, she is like a veteran voice actor. She's been in everything from the last 30 years. But she doesn't pop up until like the end of season 1 going into season 2. Stephanie Beatrice, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You've got Gina Torres from Firefly, Lance Reddick, who plays Thordak in season 2 and 3. Rest his soul. You've got Ari Payton, who played Cyborg on Teen Titans. Will Friedle shows up in season 2 and 3. We've got Troy Baker.
Yeah, he's a big one for video games and stuff because he was in The Last of Us and stuff like that. And I believe he does some anime stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I know that voice.
But then we've got Rory McCann, who played the Hound in Game of Thrones. We have Ralph Ineson, who is a veteran British actor. He's going to be playing Galactus in the new Fantastic Four movie. We've got both Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings. LeVar Burton shows up in the end of season 3 doing a voice. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to ruin it for you. Let's see. Henry Winkler, the Fonzie. Fonz. He does in season 2. He plays Pike's dad.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, they've got some really awesome voice actors to do stuff in this show, and I'm like, how did you get them in here? Like, what did you promise them? Like, I mean, Cheech Marin's in this. Lou Diamond Phillips. They even have Mark Strong for an episode.
I almost wonder if it's kind of like, hey, do you like D&D? Here, would you like to voice this kind of a thing? Or like I don't know, like if their agent is like, hey, here's this cartoon, but it's an adult cartoon. Do you want to do this? Kind of a thing.
Yeah. And I think this is probably one of the better pieces of animation that's out there on streaming services. Like I love this show, and anytime I have a chance to tell people about it, I will. Just because I think it's a very well done series, and I'm eager to see what else they've got. I know that so I'm trying to find the information on it. I know that they're in the process of doing it. It was officially picked up for a 4th season, and let's see. So it was confirmed in October of this year, 2024, that Legend of Vox Machina Season 4 has been renewed. Prime Video wasted no time in renewing the popular animated fantasy series, and it comes more than a year after the announcement of another Critical Role adaptation, The Mighty Nine. So we don't know anything about the story much yet, but Season 4 is in the works. Woohoo! Mm-hmm. And then Mighty Nine.
Yeah, I've never heard of the Mighty Nine.
That's another Critical Role story that they're working on, and that one it looks like it's D&D as well. And it says the Mighty Nine are a powerful party of powerful adventurers based in Wildemount, primarily active between 835 and 836 PD, and the protagonist of the second campaign of Critical Role. In public, so this is going to be their second campaign, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I don't know if it's going to be the same kind of vibe or tone as Vox Machina. Yeah, but I'm excited to see how this goes, because like they're all part of the same universe without being part of the same timeline or like the same era of storytelling. So I'm digging that.
So they could be before or after each other.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Cool. Well, do you have any other points or comments or questions before we?
I really enjoyed it. It is for adults, everybody. Sorry for your children if they see cartoon. No. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yes, if you want your kids to watch something that looks anime adjacent but isn't anime and is geared for kids, Avatar: The Last Airbender is on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I love that show, even if my co-host does not.
I watched season 1, and I'm still not a fan. I'm sorry, people that like Avatar. I can't.
I'm gonna go and get my arrow tattoo, and I will airbend at you. All right.
Yeah, but I did like the live action, but that a lot of people didn't like that. But I think the problem is, I didn't like live action Cowboy Bebop, but my husband liked live action Cowboy Bebop. But he's never watched the anime, and I've watched the anime, and so I was very upset by the live action. So he had no idea what was going on. So I think that's why he liked it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't too heartbroken when a season 2 wasn't.
Yeah.
But he thought it was fine. So.
Oh, it's like those people who are who've read The Hobbit, and then they see Peter Jackson make 3 very unnecessarily long movies based off of a less than 200-page kids book.
Mm-hmm.
So, go figure. All right. Well, hey, Jenae, as we're wrapping up, how can people get a hold of you?
You can find me and the people that I am on the show with, the Geek Gauntlet podcast, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on my Instagram for my art for JELXINB.
Cool. And the Geek Gauntlet, what days do you guys broadcast?
On Saturdays.
So
we go live
you're
on
going to be having an episode tonight.
Yes.
Well, as we're recording this, it's tonight. By the time this airs on Feast of Fandoms, this will be Friday.
Yeah.
Cool. So every Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Cool. All right. Well, everybody, you guys can find me at on Instagram and X at GKJ_publishing, where I talk about my books as an author, but I also talk about my other show, The Right Way, where we talk book recommendations, author interviews, and creative writing tips. I just had a live stream that I did earlier today on writing foreshadowing and red herrings. It's always nice to drop those hints to either direct or confuse your audience as necessary. I'm also on a podcast called War of the Stars for Feast of Fandoms. War of the Star, you can get a hold of us at warofthestars1@gmail.com or on Instagram, X, and on YouTube at War of the Star or WOTS 77. And of course, we're part of Feast of Fandoms, which is our network. Did I miss anything, Jenae?
I don't think so.
Awesome. Well, next month, we are going to be continuing on talking about our the second half of Ranma 1/2.
Yes.
So we'll be back with eating some ramen. We'll be trying something new. And we look forward to sharing that with you guys. So, yeah.
All right. Everybody have a good day.